welcome to another Sunday morning if you're in the US, or afternoon if you happen to be across the pond in Europe or in Israel, which is where we are right now.
Yes.
And welcome to another live stream here in Ellipsis. My name is Ronnie, and I'm joined today by a very special guest, Ira Kotli.
Yes, that's perfect.
And I'll introduce her in a second. But today we have this very special stream, I guess, because we have only met just yesterday, right?
Yes.
Or, maybe we haven't. Maybe our spirits met before yesterday, but let's say our physical bodies met
With
yesterday.
Ronnie and Ira. It's Ronnie and Ira just met.
Exactly. So we met just yesterday in a Kundalini yoga class with our teacher, Leah, which in the stream that I did yesterday, I told them about Leah. I said that I got a
Leah
chance
Laser. You can look her up. I really would love to give her a shout out. This
Right.
is an incredible teacher, Leah Laser.
Oh yeah, we should give her a shout out probably. It's Leah, Lea, and then laser, just like laser, like Laser.
Check out her on Facebook, Laser, Leah Laser.
So she's an amazing teacher. I only got to know her really in the last few months. I only got to know Kundalini yoga in general in the last few months. But it's become something that I recognize that I guess I needed in a way, and I connect to it in a way that I haven't connected to maybe different kinds of yoga in the past. Oh, look, we have Ryan here saying that we are both amazing.
Oh,
so
thank
much.
you, Ryan. You're amazing too. I hope you can say this to yourself as well. And give yourself a big, big hug.
I mean, I say it to him all the time, but
That's good.
but yeah, you should definitely tell it to yourself, Ryan, because you are amazing. Anyway, so we met just yesterday, and we ended up talking afterwards because we went with our teacher to drink some coffee, and I wanted to say goodbye to her as well before I leave, which you probably all already know if you've been watching this channel, that I'm going to be traveling soon, and we're also going to talk about that today, because I want to ask Ira some questions about the places I'm going to travel to. But anyway, so we decided that we're going to do this live stream, and this is all completely improvised, so everything that you're going to see here is completely unplanned.
Finally, something completely unplanned
I
in this
know,
live
right?
show.
Finally,
Yes.
finally we can just do whatever, right?
And play with each other.
And play. I think playing is a very good word for what I do here in general, and I usually do a lot of jazz as well, which is about improvising. I think jazz is life in a way.
I love that. Jazz is life.
Yeah, because it's all improvising, right? And we have talked about that, but before we get into that, let me officially introduce Ira to you. So I'm just reading it here. But Ira Kotli is a Ukrainian, Russian, Israeli modern witch with a doctorate.
Ooh.
Believe it or not, witches have doctorates.
Yes.
Nowadays. Witches have PhDs.
Because witch, if I may say, witch is coming from Wicca, and in Russian it's Vidunya, from the word Veda. Veda is to know, the knowledge. So if you gotta do in this world doctorate to be
Isn't
heard.
it the same way in Sanskrit?
In
the
Sanskrit,
Ayurveda and
yes,
the
Veda,
Veda,
Yeda, Vedma,
And
the witch in
Yeda,
Russian.
Yeda in Hebrew
Da
as
da
well.
da da is
Interesting.
yes in Russian. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
And I believe that really all of us are, in essence, can be that if we want to.
Right.
You know, the one who knows. It's essentially the one who knows, and we can talk later about what does she know, the witch. Why was she burnt? Because she definitely knew something that you guys want to know, but whoever burned her didn't want you to know.
Well, luckily you're not going to be burned today.
Not today. Not in this way, maybe.
We don't live in those days anymore.
Yes.
But yeah, so Ira is a witch with a doctorate in clinical psychology and certified sex, love, and relationship coach with tantric approach, which is very interesting. I'm definitely going to ask her some questions about that. She empowers women and couples around the globe to live their full, beautiful selves and create connection that truly inspires and grow each other.
Yes, we need this. You know, I want to say a couple words here about this.
Yeah, let me just, okay, I'll finish introducing you because I know you have a lot of stuff
I'm like a horse that is like ready to go.
It's fine. Somebody here needs to, you know, take care of the schedule, right? Even though this is completely improvised. But just one last sentence because it is going to be interesting for you watching and it is interesting for me as well. So Ira works online and in her little forest retreat center, which is called Encounterland, and it's located in Placerville, California. So Ira right now is in Israel, but she also lives for half of the year, right?
Yes.
In California, which is where my bus Ellipsis is happened to be parked right now as well, in the Wanderlust Waypoint location, nomad community in near Fresno, California. So that's kind of cool that we met here in Israel, and then we find out that we also technically live in the same place. She's waiting to go back there. I'm waiting to go back there as well. And so I'm gonna ask you some questions about that.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna. There's a lot of stuff here. We're probably not gonna get to all of it. But
of course, but and in case someone didn't see your bus yet and they're just dropping, you know, maybe from my, you know, social media, really click the link and check out. It's really exciting to see. Ronnie has like this process, a little like short video of the process of making the bus, and you know, very interesting story behind it. So I encourage you to check out his Instagram.
So before we get into the conversation and the conversation, I guess, all the questions that I have for you, we said we'll do some music and some meditation. So as you know, if you've been following this channel, usually on Saturdays I do jazz music, and on Sundays I do more experimental stuff and meditative music. Usually I start by doing like an NSDR, know what that's spoken about before, and just being aware of what your sensation is. And I usually go like, you know, the left foot, the left heel, the knee, and then I go to the right foot, and then the torso, and then whatever. But since you are here, I want you to do your thing, so that's what we're gonna do now, I think.
Cool. Yeah. You know, I like that you bring the truth that you can meditate without having any spiritual, what is called spiritual, which, you know, whatever it is.
Whatever that is.
Right? Like, if that word is challenging for you, then please honor it and just take it out. It doesn't have to stop you from preventing to experience what I want to suggest. And obviously, you know, because the sound orders, you will notice that you will be dropping into a state and entering into a state. You will experience being kind of taken over by my voice. It's important that you know that you are still in complete control. So you can, you know, lower your volume if you need to, take a breath. You are consciousness and you're free in that. And if you, of course, feel like dropping deeper into the meditation, then you can allow your body to relax and explore and go further.
Yeah. And I always tell people that they can be lying down, they can be seated up, they can have their eyes open, they can have their eyes closed, they can walk around the house and do chores and do the dishes. It's fine. Like, you don't have to meditate in a certain way. It's more about your inner experience than it is about anything you do on the outside.
So true. So true. Yeah. It's actually our desire to be aware. Because to be aware is to be united with yourself, with that one human you have 24/7. And I can tell you that the more this human feels deeply loved and honestly penetrated by your consciousness, the more it will be happy. It will feel, oh, I'm not alone here. My consciousness is here with me. So notice what you feel as I'm saying these things. What you feel. Take a deep breath and relax your shoulders. Let it ripple through your back and spine, your throat. Let the thoughts drift away. I want you to know that you breathing is enough. You feeling yourself is the fulfillment that your heart came to experience here. The union with the mind. Your heart allow yourself to be aware of all kinds of sensations and emotions that dance in your chest, that dance in your muscles. You are beautiful. You are I'm beautiful. Notice how now there was a shift, something shifted in experience. The moment shifted. So the experience is different, yet your awareness is maintained. So that's the magic. To stay aware. This moment is as beautiful as the more enchanting one when you hear I know that it moves you. The enchanting voice moves me into magical experience. But it's about time we embrace all of life experience. The expansive, the magical, and the very physical, here and now. The emotional, here and now. And it will be even more beautiful when I master the microphone and my voice, but for now this is the kind of beautiful that I must to accept, right? I mean, I don't have to, but if I'm really wanting to expand in love, that's the only way. To walk into unknown. And with Ronnie right now, and with you, dear beloved human, listening to this. Wow, what a beautiful music, Ronnie.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Courtesy of the C major scale. Yeah. Awesome. So that's some checking in, I guess, right? And sort of, yeah, arriving.
Yes. And I'm really not the person to tell people where, like, to micromanage the process. So it's like, you are perfect. Let me just bring your awareness to the, I call it emotional, physical, energetic body, right? Like the experiential body. In one word, I can say experiential body. And that's it.
And that's what you do?
So I'd say that what I do, that once people experience this place and they want to get more anchored in it, I help each person, because each one is individual, will have to understand and research, where people disconnect and dissociate, and what actually prevents them from maintaining that presence. So I'm helping people to figure this out, to develop emotional safety within themselves, and to really become accustomed to their energy body. So you can say I initiate people into their energy body experience. And then just really make sure it's solidified. Because otherwise, you probably know this. I know this. I can tell you I know this, that I go into certain workshop or experience. I have this, like, I feel my energy body, but then I'm out and it fades.
Right, which is always, I guess, that's always the challenge when you go to all of these like spiritual workshops and like classes and all that, whether it is meditation or Kundalini yoga or whatever it is, and you experience such great things in the class,
Yeah.
but then you go back outside into the world, into the very harsh and sometimes very shitty kind of world
And
experience.
sometimes even more harsh and shitty after you went through this awakening experience.
Oh, you think so? I mean,
Like
I guess it
you
makes
get
sense.
more
But
sensitive, and sometimes I mean, at least
right.
I can tell you a lot of people who want to, especially women,
Mm-hmm.
witchy women come to me, therapists and psychologists, they cry their hearts out how it's hard to live in the world once you are awakened. And
Yeah.
like what do you, like everything you feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and we actually just talked about this like right before we started the stream, but I said like you go to all these places and you awaken. I mean, maybe I don't even know what awakening is, but you are vulnerable. You put yourself in a very vulnerable place where you're exposed, and you're allowing everything to come to you, and you're exposed to everything, and you're allowing your reactions to come through and all that. But then you have to go out into the world, and in the world you can't be vulnerable and exposed,
So
because you can put yourself in a very dangerous situation if you are always vulnerable and exposed. Yeah, I finished talking. I can see that you already have something to
I
say. So
already
go
disagree.
Ahead. Yeah. You already disagree.
Dear
So
friend,
go ahead. Yes.
as a Russian comrade and
Yeah.
Ukrainian comrade, I can tell you that the word is harsh.
Okay.
And
Yes.
it's about time we understand we can be vulnerable.
I love how you brought your accent intentionally just to tell me that because it does. I have to say, when you tell me that the world is harsh with a Russian-Ukrainian accent, it gains more
Brings things in the
significance.
proportion.
Yeah,
My
exactly.
dear beloved European Americans, Israeli friends, let me bring you to the reality. Right now there is a war in Russia, Ukraine.
Yeah.
People
We're
live in a
also gonna
very
talk about that.
shitty, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Circumstances.
Yep.
And at the same time, I'm very sensitive and super sensitive being. So I absolutely feel when you say it's dangerous and I can get hurt because
Yeah.
the emotion and energy body responds to sound. So I want to bring this so that we understand it's in our intellect more why it's happening to us. Because literally now me speaking, I completely disturb your entire system. And when you speak, you do the same with every living organism, right? We are
Okay.
waves, we are sounds.
Okay.
So we impact each other through our voice.
Right.
And the more we increase that sensitivity via practices, so that's where, okay, then how do you now can be this huge embodied sound being, right? Walking in this reality as it is,
Yeah.
because this is what it is, and this is where I believe we gotta do some job.
Yes. How do you do that? That's the question. That's the big question.
Well, I'm inspired by you going to Ukraine a little bit more. I was like, I literally am mind blown. I'm talking to my friends and telling
Yeah.
about this Israeli guy who was not born in Ukraine, and
No.
he is like going there to volunteers. Wow.
Yeah, which is I wanted to get to it later, but we're getting to it now, so whatever. As you know, if you've been watching, I'm going to Europe very, very soon. In a week and a half from now, I'm flying to Italy, and I'm gonna do. There's a bunch of things that I'm gonna do there, which you're gonna hear about because I will be streaming all throughout. Hopefully, meet more cool people like Ira who can join me on my streams and play music with me and have fun with me. But at I don't want to say the end of the journey. One of the focal points of the journey is to get to Ukraine somewhere around hopefully August, and volunteer to this organization that helps Ukrainians rebuild their homes. And it's actually, and as long as we started speaking about this, I have to say, so I went to school in New York. And in school, I had a friend, she was more like an acquaintance. I didn't know her all too well, but I knew she was Ukrainian, and she knew I was Israeli, and she's also Jewish, so she's been to Israel and all that. And when the Ukraine war started, I reached out to her because I was like, you know,
Yeah.
I want to talk with someone who is actually from there. And she told me that, I mean, she was in New York, but her parents were in Melitopol.
Mm.
And they got like the occupation, like Russians occupied Melitopol, and the Israel.
Mariupol, you mean?
What's that?
Mariupol?
No,
No,
Melitopol.
Melitopol.
Melitopol. And the Jewish Sochnut helped them actually run away. They evacuated them
Yeah.
to the west of Ukraine, where they are still living right now. So I told her, like, you know, I was touched by the story, and she told me that, you know, the war has really taken a toll on them. They aged a lot.
Yeah.
She said, like, she came back to see them, and she said, like, they aged a lot in that year. And I said, you know what, I want to get there, and I hope, and this is something I'm holding my fingers now because of the news that we had in the last few days. If you've been following this war, there's some very good news in the last few days. But I'm holding my fingers crossed that by the time I arrive there, they're already going to liberate Melitopol. And then I can come with them back to their home and maybe help them rebuild it.
Oh, that would be so beautiful.
Which I really hope. But if not, I'm going to be there and I'm going to contribute my part anyway. So let's talk a little bit about that. So you are Russian Ukrainian. So are you on your mother's side?
Yeah, so my dad is a Ukrainian Jew, and my mom is Russian. And they are both very intellectual people.
Where did they meet? In Russia or in
They
Ukraine?
met, I believe, in university, but I'm not sure. I think it was actually in Russia. So back then,
was it the
was
Soviet
not
Union?
Soviet
It
Union,
was
exactly.
yeah,
It was.
right.
I was born in a country that doesn't exist anymore.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So they met, and yeah, they fell in love, and it's interesting that it you know, back then it wasn't very I guess common that Russian and Jew would get married. So I know that my grandmother on the Russian side was very upset about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, antisemitism has been, at least then, very strong. I don't know
Yeah.
what's happening right now.
Yeah.
I left Ukraine when I was 14, so my dad was very active also. You know, with restoring rights to the Jews, and he was also active in restoring actually rights to the independent Ukraine. I lived actually in a very activist house, so we had Chernovol. He's one of the leaders, actually a main leader of Ukraine independence, coming to our house, and
Okay.
you know,
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how
like
my dad was.
when you're saying independence?
So in '91, then the Soviet
Okay, so
Union
you're
fell.
referring back.
Right, back then.
You're not talking about like the recent, like the
Not the recent.
Euromaidan.
Right,
thingy.
not the
Okay.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but it's really like makes me really sad because, well, first Chernobyl was killed, Chernobyl in Ukrainian, and yeah, it's crazy to think that, wow, like Russia cannot let go, like they just cannot let. Yeah, it's a deep conversation. I think also cannot let go because there is a lot of like this family. The Russian and Ukrainians,
Right.
There is a lot of like families like so I have right now family in Russia, and I have right now friends, not anymore family because all of the family, you know, Jewish, so they all immigrated to Israel. But I have still, you know, a lot of friends in Ukraine.
You have friends in Russia. Where? Where in Russia?
So in Siberia.
In
so
Siberia,
in
okay.
Siberia.
And are they aware of?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What I mean.
In their way, like the rest, like the 80% of the people is aware. So what
Yeah.
happens right now, that families like mine,
Yeah.
we don't talk about these things, right? Because it would be just an explosion. There is no, and it's very sad and it's terrible, really.
Why would it be an explosion? Because there are people in the family that are more sympathetic towards.
Narrative, right? They
The
are living
narrative.
the narrative
Right.
that Putin is promoting
Right.
successfully. I mean, he really has monopoly
At least within the Russian
within
culture.
Russian, and that's
Yeah.
what is important to him, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if he didn't have that, I believe we already would be having a revolution. If he didn't that
Yeah.
monopoly, because the war, and there are leaders inside Russia who are very anti, and they're speaking about what's going on and doing
Right.
it in a beautiful, very intelligent way.
Yeah. It's funny, like I watch a lot of videos and updates about the Ukraine war, and they always talk about like how in the West, when we see like the Russian TV propaganda, to us it just looks ridiculous. It just looks like stupid. It
Yeah.
looks like people are talking out of their ass about things that are just not real and just inventing. Like, it's so weird to us, but then there are people in Russia that have been fed this diet of only propaganda for sometimes over a couple of decades, since
Right.
the 90s.
And
And for them, this is the world that they know. This is so for them. So the propaganda is meant for them. It's not meant for us. Of course, we will see it as
Exactly.
ridiculous, but for them, they actually believe it because they
And-
see it on TV. For them,
And
it's
I
like
also really want to bring to the table that we also would be having probably the same experience if we had the same brainwashing. So
True,
there is already
true.
enough
Yeah,
research, like even
totally.
I think California, somewhere in 50s,
Mhm.
there was this teacher that tried to show the students how the Hitler was able to rise to the power. So he did this experiment in the school.
Okay.
Anyhow, so it's already, I think, established that we all, because I still hear like, oh, you have to be so dumb, you have to be zombie. No. We must understand that this, like, we all brainwashed in some way, and it's a process to liberate ourselves from that.
And I think about that as well sometimes because, I like to try and be critical, about my own thinking as well. I like to question myself, and I like to try and put my assumptions to the test and not just continue believing in something because I've always believed in it, but keep questioning it. And I always question myself because I'm sure that they believe that we are exposed to propaganda in the West.
Exactly. Yes.
And it's like and you get to this sort of a place of like, well, then who is right? Then who is right? If you think that I'm feeding off of propaganda and I think that maybe both of us are wrong, which is a very dangerous idea actually, and that's the idea that I think the Putin regime is counting on, because they try to present it in this way. There's like, oh, there's no truth, there's no right or wrong, there's just like stories, there's just like narrative, but that's not the case. There is a truth. I don't know, the way that I try to see it is that, like, I do think that if I had, like, I obviously go and I listen to a lot of videos and I don't necessarily check everything that they say because I don't have the time to do. But I know that if I were to go and try and check all of these things, I would find them out for myself.
Yeah.
Whereas if I go to and listen to Russian propaganda and try to check all of these things, I will discover that they are lies.
Right.
So, I don't know. That's
And I also maybe find that on this subject, at least, I'm in a very kind of special position because I have this double heritage.
yeah.
So I have connection to the both, and so for me, it's still it's very simple how you say. It's not even about truth, not truth. It's just very simple. You open the map, you look at the size of Russia, you look at the size of Ukraine.
Yep.
Then you look at the boundaries, that it was like a separate country, and it's just so. It's actually very shocking, from my experience, it's like, how can this even happen in 2023? Like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Why and what? And it's like, just feels such a paranoid, bizarre train of thought.
It does feel very bizarre. Like, I remember even the first day of the invasion, I was like, is this really like, it really shocked me.
And did you hear the Putin speak in this like long 40-minute speech that he later deleted? I don't know, did you see that?
I never listen to politicians speak as a rule because I don't want them to get into my head. So I always, if I know what a politician said, it's because somebody else reported about what they said. I never listen to their actual
so
speeches.
I'll just maybe say this. So I remember he said somewhere in the beginning there, he said something like so to me, like these things, I don't even have to be like even history and like go into and try to understand. The president, the head of the country says, well, I think if they are going to, wage war on Russia, maybe I should do it in a Russian accent. Well, if they are going to wage war on Russia, then why do we need a war like that? That was his reasoning for why he could press a button for the nuclear
his
weapon.
Continuing threats,
so to me personally, that
which are
sentence,
stupid, by the way. He's not gonna do anything because he is a coward. That's why, and also because it's not gonna give him anything. But yeah.
But that's the thing, right? Like that sentence in itself, like this pieces of just directly, makes you understand.
I also think just from seeing the behavior, this is the behavior of a bully.
Oh yeah.
And
who was actually bullied. So we must also understand that Putin was terribly bullied by his two stepfathers. Oh yeah, he experienced terrible childhood. And I want to say, in my observation, it's usually like that.
It's actually a great segue to what I wanted to talk about, because beyond the war in itself, which is horrible, I think that I've always had a very positive view on the Russian people, because growing up, I grew up in Israel. There's a bunch of Russians here since the 90s, so I grew up with Russians around me. I knew them. They were always very intelligent, very cultured people. And I also liked reading, my favorite authors when I was growing up were Russian authors. So I read Nabokov, I read Bulgakov, I read a little bit of Gogol.
Wow.
Yeah.
You love heavy stuff.
Yeah. Well, okay. Every Russian author is heavy.
Yeah.
They all are. They are all heavy. You are heavy people. Russian people are heavy people. I always said that for me, and this is just my experience, I don't want to sound like whatever, but every Russian that I ever met is just a little bit depressed all the time.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit, just a constant mental state of depression.
It's an emotional kink. It's the thing.
It's an existential
kink.
Interesting. Yeah. Existential kink. I really love I love this. I'm going to ask you to expand on that a little bit.
There's, by the way, a beautiful book by Dr. Caroline Elliott. It's called Existential Kink.
Okay. Is it and I'm interpreting it correct? Is it kink like kinky?
Kink, like loving the pain? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's like
there is something about pain, right? And the moment you hook into that,
it's like a masochistic thing.
It's like a masochistic, and it's also, and the story that people are fed. I mean, the story that people are stealing the story. There is a sentence in Russian: "Что воля, что неволя, все равно."
Okay.
Freedom, no freedom, doesn't matter. And if you are really a slave, if you are really like an imprisoned slave
in your mind,
doesn't matter where, because in Soviet Union, oh my goodness, it was such a terrible reality.
Right.
People were monitored. You could say something, and the neighbor could tell on you.
Right.
And people were taken to Siberia to jail for nothing, for
gulags.
Years, to the gulags. I don't know how many millions of people were killed by Russians during the war. So it came from something very real. Even psychology, Russians have a lot of questions about psychology, psychotherapy. Why? Because Soviet Union used the psychiatry as a punishment, as a way for a punishment.
Right.
As a way to torture. Mm-hmm. So there is a lot, there is a certain ground. There is a ground for that. And if you're in these conditions, to think that no freedom doesn't matter, there is actually something liberating in this. Do you see it, right? If
There's something liberating but very problematic.
Of course, but I'm telling you, imagine you're constantly beaten and beaten and beaten. Any thoughts, any moment that you're trying to resist, that you're trying to rise, it's any moment, Did you see what happened with the in Kremlin? People holding in the beginning of the war a piece of paper saying "No war," being
Yeah.
arrested and taken.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And at a
I
certain
saw
point,
all of
people
that.
holding just a piece of paper,
Yeah.
like that's the level of violence
Yeah, of
and
repression.
suppression and repression, exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, so and
Gotta pray. We gotta pray for the Russian people and for the Putin.
it's like
May his soul rest.
I mean, you know, I want his soul to rest in a very specific place right now. But no,
And that's okay too.
But yeah. But
I mean-
okay, look, I mean, I'm with the whole Putin hatred, but also at the same time, look, like I'm a Jew, right? And we had the Second World War, we had the Holocaust, we
Yeah,
had Hitler.
we had enough.
Now, no, but what I'm trying to say is that I also never really hated Hitler. Like, of course I hated what he represented and what he
Right.
did to my people, but I never put anyone on a pedestal like this where I think it's only because of him. I think it was an entire thing
course,
that he
of
was
course.
representing. And Putin as well. He is this crazy dictator, sure, but he's also representing something much
Yes.
deeper. And it's just interesting for me to see, right, that the Soviet Union collapsed in 91, and it seemed like Russia was, or maybe it seemed to the West, maybe the West wanted to believe that Russia is heading towards a more liberal place, a more like democratic place, but it almost seems like at least a lot of the Russian population, even though the Soviet Union was very harsh, they almost said, okay, but we would rather have that harshness and believe that someone is in charge instead of having to deal with all the problems on our own. Like, we want somebody strong in charge that is just going to tell us what to do and take all of this. Like, we don't want to... somebody that I listened to online said that Russians outsource their politics to the Kremlin. They say, we don't want to deal with any of that. You think that a war
I don't
needs
talk
to
about
happen?
politics. I don't like to talk about
Exactly.
politics. Very common. I'm not doing politics.
Exactly. You think that we need to have a war? Okay, go have your war. We just
they're all
don't
terrible.
want
All
to have to do anything.
All the leaders, they are terrible.
Yeah.
Everyone is terrible. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Azovati. Like, let me do my
Yeah,
thing.
leave me
The world
alone.
is terrible. Everything is terrible. And the West, and it's so funny. How can that Putin is able to convince people that the West, in some way, wants to attack Russia? Why?
Right.
Do you guys have even a slightest clue how incredible, like really, compared to my experience when I was, living in Soviet Union, how incredible it is to live in California? I promise you, most people even never looked at the map to see where you guys are located. They really don't think about Russians in their day-to-day.
Yeah.
They're like enjoying nature, enjoying family, enjoying sex, enjoying food. They're living.
I've met Americans from the entire United States, from New York, from California, from the Midwest, from the South, from Texas. No one has ever told me about a plan to destroy Russia.
We must take over Russia.
Right.
Why? Because there are a lot of just poverty. No. Why would we take?
We want to have all this poverty to
Right.
ourselves. Yes.
Yeah.
And it feels to me almost as if the Russian people are in a spiritual crisis right now.
Yeah.
Because it's like they didn't want to, as a collective, right? I'm sure that a lot of
Right,
people
as a collective,
did
of
want,
course.
but
They're
I'm
beautiful yogis and incredible
and
healers.
many intelligent people who
Right.
are against the war and all that. But I think as a collective, it was like it's almost like a refusal to grow up, right? It's almost like we want to stay kids. We want to stay with no awareness and let the grown-ups, quote unquote, take care of all of our problems. We don't want to deal with them on our own. You have something to say,
Yes.
I feel, yes.
But that's okay. It's good for me to learn
it's just and it's like and as you said, the Ukrainians are like the same, like brothers and sisters of Russian people, and it's like you are seeing your brother doing something that you are not doing,
And you're
and
not,
he's
but you're not seeing. That's the thing. That's what I wanted to say, because for me, the experience is energetic. So when you speak about like the place where Russian as a collective, Russian people are as a collective, it's such a pain point where all you can do as a energy entity is to be curled into a tiny ball, just curled, encapsulated, imprisoned in that tiny ball, in a hope that no one will notice you, so they will not.
there seemed to be a problem for a second, but it seems like we're okay now. All right, sorry, continue.
Yeah, that I was hoping that when Russian, mothers and fathers will see what is happening to their boys when they're sent into Ukraine,
Yeah.
I was like almost sure it's
There
going
was
to
a
end
lot of
there.
talk about that at the beginning of the war. They
And
said,
I was
okay, as
then
soon
like,
as soon as the Russian moms are gonna see, no,
way.
yeah,
And they it's just
it's like the denial is so deep.
for some denial, and for others it's even like you have to go and fight. This is what men do. Right? It's like
Yeah, no, I know.
you've forgotten what it means to be a mother woman.
I know.
This is not the mother. The mother loves her child so deeply. The mother, by definition, is anti-war.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm remembering I worked with this girl in the United States. She lives in the United States, but she was born and raised in Siberia as well, and she was an orphan. She was an orphan, and she grew up in like an orphan place in Siberia. And she told me that the culture is very machoistic.
Oh yeah,
It's
extremely
it's
patriarchal.
it's all about like you have to be a man, you have to fight, you have to be violent, you
Yeah,
have to
according
be,
to
because
2015.
otherwise you're not, yeah, you're not, nobody's gonna, yeah.
Oh, it's very deep. According to 2015 British research, every 40 minutes there is a woman who is dying in Russia from domestic violence. And the domestic violence against women is 20 times more than in US. 20 times more.
Yeah.
It's depressing. I work a lot with women. I mean, that's and the degrees and variety of it, and the heartbreak, especially for women again who are doing the spiritual work and awakening, and just it's like a hard place to drop into, being female body, and to find yourself. In this regard, I'm very privileged. I don't think I would be the person you see right now if I stayed there. I would be encapsulated little girl, like a little soldier, obedient to what is expected of me as a woman in this society. I would be raped as a wife, and that would be called kind of like a normal couple's life, a duty, but essentially this is what it is.
Right.
And a lot of women in the relationships in the Russian-speaking world are actually raped. And it's a big subject. It's not to put the blame necessarily on the man, or it's a communal. It's like not a couple thing that he is not very perceptive. She doesn't voice her no. He maybe has this distorted ideas that to seduce means to kind of pressure and to whine for sex.
Yeah.
It's like lack of education.
We also have a little bit of that in Israel.
Oh yes,
but
in Israel, everywhere, right? We still have it everywhere.
We still have, I mean, look, this was a challenge, actually, sorry, complete change of subject, right?
Very
but
tantra.
But this was already a, it is on topic, actually.
We are moving, I think, to another topic.
But we're going to do a little bit of a meditation before, but I'm just going to say, maybe I'll expand on that later. It's always been a challenge for me as a man, because I've never wanted to be like to pressure, right? To put pressure, but I always felt that it was expected of me.
Right.
I always felt that if I'm not putting on pressure on women to
Then
go
you're not
out with me, to
interested.
go into bed with me,
Right.
then no, then it means that I'm not a man. I'm not in the.
Ugh,
I know.
ugh.
And look, here's the thing. With all of my, I know.
Let's clear it from our collective system.
No,
All the
it's-
men and women listening to this. No, but let's take this as an opportunity, right? Let's make
Yeah.
it like a little therapeutic
Actually, you're
moment,
right. Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Because we also like learned, if I may touch you,
Yeah.
like I
course.
feel that it's tough. It's like very raw and vulnerable what we are doing right now, what
Yeah.
you are doing right now, the way you share. And I feel it's very important to slow down and to honor, right? And it's important that you actually learn to do that.
Yeah.
That you learn within yourself to like you are allowed this moment to breathe, to feel into the response. And it's not only your personal response. You know, sometimes people tell me, "Oh, this is personal. I don't like to talk about personal things."
No,
Well,
I have
you already
no-
know this is
Yeah.
very not personal. It's a collective thing. A lot of men feel it.
Yep.
And so we can maybe do a meditation and then go into the tantra maybe for couples.
Yes. And I have a question about that also relates to. And by the way, I have no problem sharing personal things. Like you guys are my friends and family, and we are all a part of this channel, of this
and
experience.
it's
So I feel
beautiful.
comfortable sharing this with you.
So beautiful. We are talking about it.
And
This is
and by the
so
way,
good.
if anyone is watching and you want to share something as well, you want to share your story, there's a chat function that you can use if you're watching this on Twitch, on YouTube, on Kick.com, Facebook. You can just comment and you can write to us, and we will see it live on air. So feel free to do that. We will also love to hear what you are experiencing.
Of course,
from
that
this.
would be the best.
Right. All right. So I have some sounds here.
Yeah, I think it's a
That we can
beautiful moment
use.
for meditation.
Right. So
And maybe I will focus this meditation dedicated to healing of a male-female wound. How do you feel about that?
yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Allow yourself to feel the emotion. I allow myself to feel my emotion. Emotion is the energy in if you're noticing some weird, expansive, out of the body kind of experience, like a floaty, expanded, united. Self. Breathe with your Vedic experience. Allow yourself your own Расслабиться здесь самим собой. Relax within yourself. To get more comfortable with uncomfortable topics and feelings and sensations, let's embrace how it feels like to touch upon the very painful subject of violence between man and women. Let's embrace our ability to stay present with centuries of women being slaves to the man, a complete property of her owner. Let's not shy away from this. The feminine was taught and trained perfectly to be the most exquisite servant to her master, and enjoy it, of course. Existential king. The man was trained to strip himself of his heart, to be a good soldier, to be manipulated and manipulative. Yes. You have to survive. You gotta do what you gotta do for your family, for your wife and children. Because how else can you corrupt male's heart? The true heart of a true male is the heart of a lover, it's the heart of the Mahadev, the ultimate lover, the one who is here to pleasure his wife, to learn her, to discover her, to shower her with existential, unlimited love, Adi Yogi. The only way to corrupt his heart is to convince that it's going to be most efficient in the service and there are rules to be followed and someone else knows better than you what are the rules and you must obey. What is it in us that loves this kinky game of obey and master? Let's not shy away from our king people. Yes, not shy away from our darkness inside of us. And breathe. Yes, breathe. Bring all your attention to sensation. I also invite you, if you feel comfortable, to allow yourself to sound and move your body. Wherever you are, if that's aligned, you can allow the little movement or just trace the inner movement with your awareness. Nice. Yes. So I'm here touching Ronnie a little bit with consent and within the boundary of the moment with the therapeutic setup. Why? Because, and if this is something beautiful you can do with other people, right? Of course, when you have consent. Because when I'm touching his body with my hand, I bring that little tiny bit of awareness, especially with the intellectual mind, to the physical body, right? So whether he wants to be stressed or not, he can't, I believe. Not really at this moment, right? Yeah. It's hard because the self-regulatory mechanism is kicking in. And I'm just helping it a little bit with my voice, with my energy. So I can also kind of touch through Ronnie without actually touching physically. And I wonder, I don't know if you want to share what you feel right now. Share if you want to share the experience, if you notice kind of.
Right now?
Right now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm seeing your hand.
Right, and then trace the sensation. It's okay that it's also visual data.
I mean, I guess I can feel something. It's just maybe I'm also convincing myself that I'm feeling something because you asked me about it. So I'm kind of, in my mind, I'm trying to feel something.
But what do you truly feel? So now you don't have to like show off or anything. Like, what do you truly feel in the moment?
I feel like my back is holding me upright. And there's a sensation there. It's not painful, but there's a little bit of tension just because I'm a professional pianist
and it's somewhere here
upright.
In this spot.
Yeah, exactly. In this spot.
Yeah, so just be aware that it's interesting. It's interesting for me too, right? It is a good discovery for me too that I knew exactly the spot.
Yeah.
So it now becomes our collective knowledge, Veda, right? Whether we understand it or not, there is something in us that can connect and feel into each other. So speaking of our collective work as couples and males, females wanting to make actually love and not war, actually love. That's the edge we are leaning into. Learning how to feel the self and feel the self in the other. To a conversation, I invite you to let your awareness linger. Linger at the sensations as we talk.
There we go. So just making sure. All right, we have this. Cool. Nice. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me here.
Yes. Oh, and I guess it's a good time to also mention, please, if you're watching this live stream and you're not yet a follower of this channel, please do so. which you can do on many, many different platforms, which you can see right above both of our heads here, going from this side of the screen. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitch, I'm on kick.com. I'm also on TikTok, even though I haven't posted anything there, but I'm gonna start posting soon. I just, I guess I'm becoming an old man. This new thing that the young people are doing is not yet completely clear to me. But yes, and you can just look for Ellipsis Bus, so ELLIPSISBUS. That's on pretty much all of the platforms. You can also go to my link tree, which is linktr.ee/Ronnie GBZ Jr. RONI GBZJR. Or, it's in my bio link as well in my Instagram or Facebook. So if you find any of those, you can go there. It has all of the links that you need. So instead of having to go and look for them yourself, you can just see all of the links. And please follow me, because I'm trying to promote this channel and make it bigger and bring more cool people on the channel and in my travels and all that. So please do that. That's a great, completely 100% free way to support me. And if you want to support me even more and you want to spend a little bit of money, you can also become my supporter on Patreon, which you can become my friend for money. Basically, you pay $5 pay $5 a month, and it's basically a way of saying, I want to be your friend. I wanna promote what you're doing. I want to support what you're doing, and in the future, there's also going to be perks for all of the friends of Ellipsis. So please do that. And in the end, I'm gonna mention, actually we could do that now. If people want to follow you, where should they go to?
Instagram.
Instagram.
It's simple Ira Kotlik, IRAKOTLAK, and you will find me.
Yes.
Across the platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the same. IRAKOTLAK, Ira Kotlik.
And you said that that you're starting to do podcasts, or?
Yes, I began to do a podcast, and it's on Spotify for podcasters right now. And I'm posting, each time I release the episode, I post it on
Facebook,
and
Instagram, and all
right
that.
now I have the first episode that me and my husband listened, and at a certain point, it was a little choppy in the beginning, but if you keep listening, it gets to actually a very good part. To please my husband, who is an artist, and in this way, he's very critical with himself. So that's
I know exactly.
I think I did something good there. So check this out.
Good. Yeah, we just talked about this before the stream, that we want to come and do the thing, like artists and like whoever has content to provide to the world. We want to just come and do this thing. And it is possible, right? There's a lot of opportunities today that maybe people in the field like 30, 40 years ago didn't have. But then there's all this technology that you have to deal with.
No.
And, I'm saying it like this, but
it is. It is a
It's
lot.
a little
hard.
bit. Yeah, it's hard, because in order to bring like a good product thing to you people.
Even the quality of the sound, I can tell you guys, I just really want to emphasize.
Yeah.
Yes, please do follow Ronnie, and please go on Patreon, and because it's a lot of work. It's actually a lot of hours. It's a lot of also financial investment.
Yeah.
And sometimes we really need to slow down to understand that if I find myself listening to this and I really enjoy and I come back to it again and again, then just realize that this is a lot of work. So just want to put it out there.
Yeah. And I think it's a good thing that happened in I can say about the music industry, right? Because that's what I'm technically a part of, even though I don't actually feel like it. But the way that it used to be was that in order to get into the music industry, you had to have a person saying, oh, they are good enough, I want to have them in the record company or whatever and sign you up. And there was this gatekeeping, right? That you couldn't get past it until you get past. And now it's different. Now you can get directly connected to your audience, and I think it's great because it means that my creation and what I'm giving to you is based on, just whether or not you like it enough to keep supporting it. And it's not about a gatekeeping, and it's not about trying to get into any sort of system. It's just communicating with people and saying, hey, if you like me well enough, come and support me so I can do more of what you like. And if not, then, why are you here? We're already an hour into the stream. Like, you shouldn't be watching if you're not into this.
No, I mean, it's sure we all love free things, and I'm really excited that, I love that it's there and it's possible, and it's all beautiful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm glad that I'm proud of two of us that we're taking the time and just speaking out about it as creators, as artists, because I mean, yeah, if
it's needed.
It's
also
needed
right now in the world with all of the. So Tantra. So, yeah, I guess, okay, so how can I phrase this question? Well, Tantra, so you're probably going to explain it better, but the way that I always understand it is that Tantra is about sexuality, right? It comes from...
Nope. Tantra
so it's not about sexuality.
Is just a pile of texts. Basically, people fight over what Tantra is and who may or may not call themselves a Tantra teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are confused and if you don't know what it is, and in the West it came with the sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, so let me just say how I see the essence of Tantra.
Definitely.
So Tantra is just one of the yogas, one of the schools of thought of practice.
Oh, okay.
How can you get liberated? How can you get moksha, liberation from the illusion, united, right? The union of the yoga.
The illusion is life?
The illusion is the illusion.
Okay.
The illusion, maybe the way I would say, is that we are separate. So to me, the illusion is that we are separate from the air that we are breathing, from the people that we are fucking, from the food that we are eating, the planet we are walking. That the illusion to me is that.
It's the ego illusion. It's the illusion that we are something separate from everything that is around us.
So I personally prefer to use as least terminology.
Oh, right,
so
right.
I like taking this, right?
We talked about this yesterday. Yeah, right.
Because let's liberate the space from all that.
Let's just say liberate from the illusion. Yes.
Liberate. Yeah, that's okay. So basically, and I really think that this is a medicine for our times, because what it comes to do is in a very down to earth, because Tantra, so the other main school, or I would say the main school of spirituality that probably most of you guys know, is that if you go to meditation, to Vipassana, then you really try to it's actually kind of masculine way, to me, I have to say, in a sense that it's
meditation.
Meditation, the way it's like, and it's interesting because it's all like passed from master to master. These are originally male schools, of thought, and so it's very kind of, okay, you need to be focusing on your experience and detach from all the worldly things, and just detachment. And to me, it's also very similar to other main religions that, for whatever reason, create first duality.
Right.
And they say, this is good, this is bad, this is you can do it, this is you can't.
Mm-hmm.
And then we begin to glorify the one and vilify the other. And what happened, that we began to vilify the body.
Mm-hmm.
We began to vilify, in a sense, Shakti. The creation.
The
unknown.
The mother.
The mother.
Yeah.
The mother. So the way, and I'm by no means I'm saying that Tantra is better or not, because people are different. I just can say that Tantra was my savior, because for me it didn't work to sit down and meditate and try not to think and try not to feel and try. I mean, I did Vipassana for 2 times, the 10-day Goenka retreat twice.
So I went to do that when I was 20, I think. the same
Mm-hmm.
10-day retreat thing in the north of
Arava.
Israel.
In Arava, it was
Oh, not in the Arava, in
Oh,
some kibbutz in the north of Israel,
yeah.
Bet Zera, I
Uh-huh.
think.
I've done it in Arava,
Um,
yeah.
but I ran away after 4.5 days.
Ooh, I love that.
I came to the teacher, whoever was doing, and I told them like I can't do this. Maybe today I would be able to, um, but I also think that I was, yeah, like, mm, it was this idea. I think the thing that disturbed me the most, and this really connects to what you're saying, is that someone was telling me what to do. Is that someone was telling me, this is the way to go, and you need to go in that. And the teacher actually told me this when I came to him with questions, and like one of the nights, and I said, I don't even remember what I said, but I conveyed this thing of like I don't know what to I don't like this. I don't like.
Yeah, you were
and
overwhelmed
and
by
and
the experience. Yeah.
yeah, and he told me that I am not accepting the way, like I
Yeah.
am not accepting the teaching, and that's why I have a conflict. And I said, but I want to accept my teachings. Like I wanna have my own path towards enlightenment. I don't want to have your path. I want to have my own path towards enlightenment.
Right.
So I don't
And
know.
that's what I found when I found the beauty in Tantra, where it really doesn't. So, the methodology of this meditation, Vipassana, that you really focus, and it's not just Vipassana, the mainstream
Yeah.
kind of what we know, the Buddhist. So, you focus on cessation. This is what you observe.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of value. I definitely can say there is a lot of value in that. I myself have been deeply, benefited from that.
Yeah.
And then I realized that, but it doesn't allow me to do life. It doesn't prepare me to do life. And that it also actually creates this like, oh, this is attachment, this is detachment. This is, how it's like, no.
Duality.
Duality,
Boundaries,
exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the Tantra
Interesting.
says, you know what? You can make love and you can have sex and it will be divine and it will be union with the most profound experience. Again, I'm trying to kind of walk away from the words like divine because I know that for many people it doesn't mean the
Right.
expensive, super delicious experience. How about that?
Yeah.
The ecstatic, the culmination kind of sense of completeness type of an experience. That in this level we all can agree we are all after that. And Tantra really allows you to go there.
Okay. So you would say that it's the
Fast.
Fast. You want to say that it's the like antithesis of meditation, or like antithesis of the kind of meditation that you described, that you have to really like sit down and concentrate. Like it's more free. It's more follow your own path, or follow the path that you think you need to go in. Like
It's definitely it's kind of leaves only the bare essentials of what a soul needs to become liberated, which is your own mind, right? So it's just a method that trains you to drop right away into the truth that the reality the way it is right now, you, me, everything that is happening is perfect. Not in a sense that is ideal. That's the beautiful kind of complexity of when we begin to
yeah, I have to admit I have an issue with that when people say like, oh, you're perfect, and I'm like, no, I'm not. Like and I don't want to be.
right.
Or
But that's the
but yeah.
so. But if you, I wonder if you
But I
resonate
understand
with
that
this
the meaning is
this
different.
sentence though.
Yeah.
You are perfect and not perfect at the same time.
I can get behind that. Like I understand what it means. The thing is that because I've had experience, like we've talked about this. I have a very like intellectual mind, and I've always been into math and science and like the hardcore evidence based stuff. But I was also like when I was 10 years old, this student of my mom's gave me a book about chakras, and I read it like as a 10-year-old kid, and I got so excited about it, and I was
you
like,
got activated.
there's this chakra and there's this chakra, and I knew it all.
Yes.
So I have the very spiritual side, so even if like you can say a sentence like this and my thinking brain might go like, but then I will feel it here.
Exactly. So it's empirical. So I love it. It's empirical.
Right, exactly. So I can definitely connect to it. And this is why I never had any issues of going to like classes and meditation and doing all the things. Like in Kundalini yoga, we do all these motions, which sometimes I think like if somebody watches us from the outside, it looks like a cult.
Yeah.
It looks like some bunch of crazy
drugs.
people who are just like, but I'm, I guess I'm old and experienced enough to say like, whatever, I don't give a fuck. Like this is about my internal thing. Whatever I'm feeling is fine. I don't care. I'm just gonna do this, and I know it's gonna be great. So.
And I also want to bring to our attention that the reason we feel this way because we did have a long history of different religions, and long history of duality, and of that the body shaking, the body moving like that is like it's labeled crazy, witchy,
right,
weird, exorcism, I don't know, something like devils. And I mean, till this day, right? Like there are devils and there are demons and they can possess you and negative energy.
Right.
And it's like, no, enough. I mean, it's true that all kinds of experiences exist.
Yeah.
And this is all me. So I'd rather make peace within that me. Because all these demons and angels and blah, 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 me. That's the precipice of Tantra. You can think about it, it's almost like an axiom. It's a methodology. And it says, okay, this is the axiom that we are beginning to work with. And then it will be evidence-based. It will be empirical by your sensations. Because you will be moving and exploring at your own pace. You just will be observing what is happening in you and seeing what it does to you in the moment and to your life. And I absolutely get behind that, absolutely. An effective practice, it's evidence-based.
Yeah.
You can feel it. You can see. And if you don't feel it and see it, when I hear people going to psychotherapy and tell me, I go to for 7 years, and it's like, I'm not standing behind this. I will not be a person looking into your eyes and saying like, oh yeah, of course. Because I do think that there is much better and more effective. We are not meant to be in therapy forever. So that's another maybe subject, but
yeah.
And some people can feel that they benefit from this, and this is like a good supportive. Right. This is also the culture, the way we are, like this business really made itself out there.
Yeah.
But again, Tantra comes to say you're perfect, you're beautiful. Yes, there is a lot of kind of things that you will really dislike in yourself and feel ashamed of. In the world, in yourself, and let's learn to be truly, let's learn to stay present with it. Because the medicine and the wisdom, there is no this wisdom yet. It will be birthed through all of us practicing presence and kindness.
And how do you practice it? Okay, I'm gonna say like, everything that you're telling me right now is it's not that it's different, but it's like, as I said, I always heard about Tantra in the context of sexuality.
Right. That's beautiful too.
And I'm sure it is, and I've always wanted to explore it, but I've never had like a partner that was open enough. Like my last relationship that went on for 4 years, we were I guess in a way we're attempting to be this open, but we also weren't. I mean, I always wanted to go and explore, and she really didn't.
Right, but again, the Tantra is also not necessarily polyamorous. Actually, the heart of the Tantra is extremely monogamous. The heart of the Tantra is the union of Shiva and Mahakali.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in terms of the sexuality, it's like the exchange between them. Again, different people take it to different places, and you can take it to the polyamory, places for sure.
No, yeah. No, I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about more like the sense that I would have loved to go with her to like a tantra
Like a workshop.
workshop or something, but I also knew that she would never want to do it because she had her own issues and her own like
Right.
things. And look, I was aware of these issues, and at the beginning of the relationship, I even tried to do my best to help her deal with those issues. But there also came a point where I said, I want to be your boyfriend. I don't want to be your caregiver. I don't want to be your, like, I don't want to have to take care of you
Right.
because we are in a relationship and that's not the relationship. Never mind. It's a whole story. But the question that I'm getting to is, if I don't have a partner to practice it with, how do I practice it on my own? How do I get and learn more about it on my own?
So there is. First, I also want to mention that if someone who is listening, or anyone, if you want to learn tantra in terms of sexuality with your partner, then there is also a way to go for individual process. So these things also exist, and this is, for example, most of what I do with couples is really individual mentorship of the two people.
So you work with the couple, but you work with each
I
individual
work
on their
also
own.
with each individual on their own, and we also
Gotcha.
work as as a couple. Like we get three of us, and we get also one on one, and we do it online, and it's exquisite, the results. It took me a long time to surrender, to request to do it
To the
online.
virtual thing. Yeah.
I didn't believe in it.
Yeah.
I love, of course, doing it in my retreat center. I have a sauna. I have a hot tub. The water, it's all adds.
Nice.
It's a forest. It's a
I
couple can
definitely
have.
need to come to your place.
Oh,
when I'm
it's
in
incredible,
California.
and people can stay in the little cabin.
Yeah.
So, how do you practice it when you're on your own?
Yeah.
So, how do we practice union? Union, union, union. Do you notice that you're never really alone? That there's always this inner dialogue,
Yes.
right? So
Of course.
it almost feels like that the essence of our being, there are two, of our being as a consciousness. There are two. There's the one that experiences, and then there's the other one who's like watching. And they exchange between them.
Yes.
This is the tantric couple. Shiv.
Okay.
Shiv. 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 Oh, Shiv. It's the light of consciousness. The consciousness. The presence. The awareness. And then there is Shakti. Shakti. The mother. The experience, the wild lila, the playful wanting to explore it, all part of our consciousness. Right? So it's not really, there's not really no separation. They are one. They are one. The one that, the part that penetrates the experience. Right now, as we are talking, right? You can see how your awareness, yes, you hear the sound, you hear the sensory stimuli, and you also have this inner responses inside of you. So there's always this, like, the two that play together. And the individual practice of Tantra is this, in the way I see it, again, at the core of it, it's training my mind, it's training my awareness to be aware of what is. Because what is my lover. So I can say that what is the mother, but because for me, I experience myself as the Shakti, as the mother. So for me, I feel, but it's really interchangeable. I can play with it. I love to play with it because I don't want to project it also on my partner, for example. I can play that he's my Shiv and everything is Shiv, and I can truly experience it. We can really go into what is available. I mean, this is actually something I'm so passionate to share what is available to us as males and females, as cisgendered males and females
Right.
who want to be in a sexual relationship with each other. Like, what is available to us when we connect and begin to share consciousness
Right.
and to feel one and to be yet two?
But you're saying that even without having a different person to do this connection process with, you can do it inside yourself.
I would even say that not only you can do it, of course, but if it's in your heart, the desire for this kind of coupleship, you doing this practice on your own, within yourself, will inevitably bring into your sphere that being with whom you would be able to truly experience it, right? Because
Right.
it's almost like an instrument. You realign yourself, you come into that being, the one who is in a true love and union within yourself. There is a lot of self-love in my individual work. A lot, like, it's all about self-love, how to truly self-love yourself.
Yeah.
Because the moment it happens, things begin to realign, I mean, some clients say that their health begins to be better.
That their health.
Physical health,
Their
right?
health, yeah,
like the things that happen at work, their relationships, and then eventually, I just met this person,
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
and it's not necessarily the end, because the relationships are, if you are thinking that I will come into this union and then I will meet this incredible man or a woman and it's going to be perfect, it will and it will not.
Right.
It will
Perfect
and
and
will not,
not perfect at
because
the
you
same
will
time.
meet at the same time this like
And you always have to work at it as well. There's no moment where you achieve something and then that's it. Your work is done.
So I don't like to say
And there will
I need to
always be
work
work.
in that, because I'm again
Okay.
lazy. I'm not here to work. I'm here to have
Oh,
pleasure and
well,
fun, right?
I like to work. I like
Good,
to work.
good. But what I do,
For me, working is what gives me,
so
meaning.
I kind of
Yeah.
need to trick myself, because I work actually
Yeah.
kind of endlessly.
Okay.
But
yeah.
then I say, maybe because I want to, I love my work a
Yeah,
lot. I want to do it a
yeah.
lot. So I
I
say,
think it's okay to admit that as
right?
well, right?
I love playful. I don't know. I love it playful. Like, work is so serious. Работа in Russian. Работать.
If
to
you're
work.
saying if you're saying anything with a Russian accent, I think it will sound like this.
Yeah, but it's true. It's true. I love what you bring to my awareness. That Ira, take it to explore how work can become sexy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It doesn't have to be exhausting. It doesn't have to be so. Thank you.
Right. You don't have to be a robot, right? Because the word robot comes from rabota.
Работа. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, that's true.
What I was trained to do as a child.
Yeah. All right. We're actually getting close to the end here. Do you want to sing "Made a Long Time Son"?
I'll tell you what is coming up for me.
Okay.
Because we began before, we touched on a very sensitive and important subject. When you shared that as a man.
Oh yeah, you want to go back into that?
So I
Sure.
think that maybe would be more. There is more medicine, I feel, in that, kind
Okay.
of, and finishing then with that. How many minutes do we have?
Oh, it's okay. I mean, I'm very flexible with my time. Like usually, I go for at least an hour and a half. Now we're an hour and 35 minutes.
Okay.
But it's okay. I've even when I'm just with myself, I just talk and talk and talk, and I end up going over and it doesn't really matter, because it
Right.
doesn't matter. People can watch it for however long they want, and
Right.
so whatever. So we can go on. It's fine. Don't feel pressured, that we need to finish at a certain time. You want to continue the conversation.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
realized the timing too.
Yeah.
So we can
touch
just
on that.
take 5-10 minutes, to complete with the meditation. Maybe will be. I would love to offer it to the masculine, just because that's the voice that came up, and that's where I want to take us.
Okay.
So it's
All
going
right.
to be a talk, and it's going to be a guided experience as well. So Ronnie shared something very vulnerable and very true, I find, to many, many men, that are right now confused and lost. I definitely am not the one who wants to hurt women. I know this about me. I have so much love to give, so much desire to adore, and just, I think we naturally, we all have this in us, that we want to love. We want to shower the other with adoration, with pleasure, with goodness, and to receive. And being a man in these times is confusing. What am I? And what I find the mistake many men make in this regard is that to now enslave yourself to the feminine, to put yourself in a position where this is your job to pleasure her. This is her job to make her feel things. And dear man, I want to liberate you from this. You are not here to pleasure, to take care of her, to make her feel anything. You are a human being, and she is a human being, and we are here on the path to reach fullness within ourselves. First of all, reach fullness. Become your own lover. Take yourself as the most delicious, attractive female you can possibly imagine. The most incredible, beautiful human being, magical. What you desire in a partner. Because the deep truth is that what I as a woman desire in a man, what you as a man desire in a woman, we have inside of us. We have gentleness and kindness and love and tenderness. We have power and mind and ability to sustain ourselves. Ardhanarishvara is the tantric medicine to remind us, to activate us as Ardhanarishvara, the one that is two. Shiva and Shakti united in invincible, ever-present union within every single being. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, whoever reached this point.
Yes, yes. If you have reached this point, good on you. Good on you. You're committed.
And we are grateful.
And we are grateful. And I am grateful to you for being here. It's been a blast. It's been a good time.
Yeah,
It's been
same
a good
here.
time. Yeah, and we have talked about some subjects that has been on my mind, both on the whole Tantra aspect and also on the Ukraine war aspect. I'm so curious to know how it is. Like when I reach there, I'm so curious to know what's gonna happen, because I feel like it's a. And you asked me, I think you asked me yesterday when you heard that I was going there, like, oh, are you Ukrainian? Are you Russian? I was like, no. I mean, yes, theoretically, my grandfather was born in a village that is now in the west of Ukraine, but it's not like I was ever
Right.
connected.
Mhm.
But I just felt it's a place that I need to go to. And I have a policy in life, which is if I feel I need to go to a place, I'll find a way to go there.
I love that policy.
Yeah. And also, especially if it's a scary place, then I definitely need to go there.
Wow.
If it's a scary place, then I know that I have to find a way to get there.
Oh, there are people who are doing this, because some of us are just such a pleasure junkies. Like, hear me.
Yes. I'm also a pleasure junkie, but I think I've learned that when you get over fear, you find a lot of pleasure in there as well.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So do stay tuned, because this is something I'm gonna do very soon. I'm leaving Israel in a week and a half from now. So this is the very last live stream that you're gonna see me in this room where I grew up. This is the room where I grew up from age 0. And so this is the last room that you're gonna see me here. Next week, on the weekend, we are not going to have live streams, so not Saturday and not Sunday, just because I want to have my own peace of mind to pack and get myself ready. But usually we do these live streams every Saturday and every Sunday. So Saturday it's 12 p.m. Eastern time, and Sunday it's 11 a.m. Eastern time. Those are New York East Coast time, so make your adjustments based on wherever you are in the world. And follow this channel on all of the platforms that I mentioned: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, TikTok, and go to my Patreon as well and become my friend for money. And go to Ira's platforms as well on Instagram, Ira Kotlik, right?
Yes, IRAKOTLIK.
Yeah.
And I'm now doing the podcast on Tantra, where I'm going to share with you many stories of Mahakali and Mahadev and how applicable it is to us as individuals and as couples. So a lot of good stuff is coming up.
Yes. So do that, and then if you, I guess they should probably, if they want to have like a session with you, they should reach out to you through your Instagram.
Right.
And
yes.
she is in Israel for half of the year, and then she has her place in California as well, which I'm now dying to visit. And I will. That will be a nice, I think.
Ooh, we shall do a podcast from
Yes,
there.
yes,
Let's
I
do
was
it.
about to say
it's going
that
to be
would
so
be
beautiful.
that would be like a nice closure of
Oh
the
my
circle.
goodness, yeah.
Like once I get my visa and once you go back there
Yes.
as well, and we can meet there and we can have like a continuation
Yeah.
live stream where we do that. Would be nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna
for sure.
we're gonna do it.
Yes.
We're gonna do it here.
And
we
you
are.
guys know that, my home is also, so this is a beautiful 5-acre forest, and there is a cabin that is available for rent on Airbnb. So you can also come and just have your own meditative retreat, or, match some services and leave out the others. So a lot of options.
Awesome. That's very cool. Yeah, and I guess just because we've been talking about this, I guess we also wish for, what do we wish for? I mean, okay, I wish for Ukrainian win, I guess. in order to finish this war.
Yes, yes.
But after, and I think it's very important to say that we in the West, it's not just that we don't want Ukraine to lose, we want Ukraine to win. Because it is important, and it's not about like being against Russians. We are not against
Yeah, we want at the end everyone to win. It's not, we have this one planet, we are all on it.
Right.
Israelis, Palestinians, Arabs, Jews,
Right.
Black, white, all the people, we must figure out how to be together with each other.
Yes,
And,
we should. We really should
yeah.
get to figuring this thing because we are a little bit late.
And
I
I'm
think.
actually very inspired by Germany because they had their very
Yeah.
bad moment.
Yep.
And look at them now. They really did a beautiful transformation.
Great, because that's exactly what I wanted to say. That's what I wish for. So I wish for Ukrainians to win and then rebuild their home and their country and their culture.
Amen.
And then I also wish for the Russian people to have a spiritual awakening where they understand the consequences of what happened and that this is no longer
where
sustainable.
They can feel and understand their brothers and sisters in Ukraine.
Yes.
Where they can understand, the transformation.
Yes.
I hold my heart, my everything for the transformation of the Russian people.
Yes.
For also their own abundance because as someone who lived in this area of the world and then was able to go to Israel, I remember the first time I came out of the Ben Gurion airport, the first thing that stuck with me is that there are colors.
Wow.
So I want
It almost makes me cry.
Russian people to experience the colors. The colors of freedom.
Yes. Wow.
Of love, of unity, of together.
Yeah.
Not one against the other. We are all brothers and sisters on this planet. Let's keep learning, de-learning and unlearning and relearning.
Yeah, unlearning all of our bad habits of being in conflict and in war with each other. Yeah, yes. Thank you. That's a very good moment to end this on, I think.
Yeah.
I felt it. Good. Okay. So thank you so much for your support, for watching, whether it is you're watching this live, or you're watching this on a rerun later, which is always available on my YouTube channel and everywhere. Please keep tuning in, keep supporting. There's many good stuff, in the piping, as they say. And yes, and thank you so much for being here with us.
You guys are so addictive. We can't stop.
Yeah, right. We can just, I always have the feeling at the end that you just can keep going forever, but, all good things must end, right? And everything else as well. So, with that, this is Ronnie and Ira and Ellipsis out.